All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Fast Cars, Fast Money. We were planning on getting this video out to you guys later last night, but power went out during single car qualifying, and DraftKings was pretty delayed in getting the pricing out, the starting positions, who was in what dual race. So we're up early this morning. We got our coffee. It's just Rich and myself here today, and we're going to be breaking down the dual races that are tonight. Two 60-lap shootout races. Half the field's going to be in duel number 1, half the field's going to be in duel number 2. But we have a spreadsheet here for you guys. If you guys want access to this, feel free to hop over on Twitter. Follow us at Fast Cars FM. You can get access to the spreadsheet for yourself. You can pull it up when you're looking through your DraftKings lineup, trying to figure out who's going to be a good play, who isn't going to be a good play. Also see kind of where Rich's thoughts are, where my thoughts are, as far as, who we like and who we don't like. So with that being said, we're going to hop over into the preview and the strategy for the race. And I'll let Rich kind of walk you guys through kind of our strategy when analyzing this race. This one's a little bit different than the Daytona race. A lot of these guys don't really have too much to race for. So it shouldn't be a wreck fest or anything. It should be pretty standard, just clock off some laps, get your car tuned up for Sunday. But why don't you tell them, Rich, about kind of what our thoughts are for approaching this slate?
All right. Well, since this one's like a shorter race, and most of these guys are just using it as like a practice session in the draft and everything, they're going to be taking care of their cars. They're not going to be taking like big risks or whatever. You might see guys moving around a little bit just to see what they have for Sunday. But I feel like most of the time we're just going to see everybody following each other. We'll probably get the single file pretty quickly, in my opinion. But with this race, with the guys aren't going to be pushing it, you can definitely take more risks with the guys starting the top half. And everybody, I would say, you could probably play them, but we'll explain who we like more once we get to the next part.
I would echo. Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, I was going to echo a lot of what you were saying. Basically, when you get to these super speedways, a lot of people say, stack the back. And normally that's correct. But in the dual races, it's a little bit different. You can take a little bit more risk at some of the guys starting towards the front half of the field, because a lot of these guys don't really have anything to race for. The only guys that really have something to race for are the open cars that are in the race. And even then, they really only have to beat one or maybe two other cars just to qualify for the race.
Yep.
Cool. So another thing that we're really going to be looking at both of these slates is, the manufacturers are going to be working together in kind of team order. So usually in the dual races, you'll see, all the Toyotas will link up and they'll draft together, they'll pit together, they're on the same strategy. Now, normally if there's a wreck, sometimes that can bite you in the butt, because if you're playing all the guys on the same team, they can easily all wreck out together. But in the dual races, there's probably not going to be any wrecks. So it's actually probably a pretty good strategy. So we'll hop over here to the first race, duel number 1, which I have up on my screen for you guys. And then I'll let Rich kind of walk through. We can kind of have an open discussion here as far as some of these top price drivers of who we like and who we don't like. DraftKings definitely price these guys pretty soft again, in my opinion. So you can really get, basically, you can play any guy that you really want. It's really just going to be trying to find those low ownership plays.
So Joey Logano, starting 11th, definitely offers upside because he's going to hook up with all the other Fords, and they'll probably just run in the front because that's generally what they always do. So definitely have high interest in him. Denny Hamlin, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's interesting because, if anyone that's been paying attention to any of the media coverage is going to see, like, Denny Hamlin has been all over the news. Yep. They've been talking about him left and right. So obviously he's going to be a good play, but for me, starting 7th, I think he's going to be pretty high owned, and he has some upside starting 7th, but I'd much rather play Logano, who I think is also going to be high owned. But
and and in this duel, there's not that many Toyotas, so it's going to be tough for him to find drafting partners.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't. I think the only other Toyota in the field it looks like is Christopher Bell and Ty Dillon. So they're all the Toyota teams are kind of split in half. So they definitely don't have as much drafting help. So that's I think we're on the same page there. I'd much rather play Logano and try to get some more salary relief on some of these other drivers.
Yep. Kyle Larson, he should draft with Bowman and all the other Toyotas. Or not Toyotas, sorry, Chevys. The Chevys are really fast. They always are at Daytona and the super speedways. But, starting where he's at, he'll probably finish around there, in my opinion. Almarola and Stenhouse, both not really interested in them because they're starting way too high.
Yeah, and I would probably echo that too. I mean, typically Almarola and Stenhouse are very good at these super speedways, but again, they don't really have anything to race for, and they start really high up on the field. So unless they're leading the train and clicking off laps, like there's really not too much upside there. And I feel like they might get some ownership just because of people will look at their past through super speedway, finishing results and see like, oh, these guys are really good. And they are, but I don't think they really have that much upside there. What about the 8K range drivers? Who do you like out of that range?
Matty D, he should link up with Logano. They're same team, basically. I honestly think the Fords are probably going to be who we see at the front of the pack for most of this race. So he would probably be a good play because he could lead some laps. Definitely has a little bit of place differential upside. Christopher Bell, not a big Christopher Bell fan, so I'll let Andrew talk about him.
Yeah, I would. Same thing. I'm really excited about Matty D. I think he's going to work really, really closely with Joey Logano and Austin Cindric. And the interesting thing about Cindric is he's an open car, so he's not locked into the race. So I think, the Penske affiliate teammates are really going to push for him to get into the race. And he has a fast car. So I think the three of them are going to link up early. We're going to see them together. We're going to see them at the front of the field. So really, really interested in Matty D. And then on the other side, if you're looking at the Chevys, I am pretty interested in Tyler Reddick and Eric Jones. They start, pretty deep in the field. I don't really see them losing spots when you consider some of the other cars that are in this race. So, I definitely want to get some of these Penske Fords, but then I definitely want to get, counteract that with some of these Chevys. And I'm really looking at Reddick and Eric Jones to move forward.
Yeah. Jamie Murray, he's locked in. So he's probably just going to be going out there trying to get used to being in a race car again, honestly. Not sure we'll see him at the front. Ryan Newman, it's a weird price and starts basically in the middle of the field. So, he'll probably finish lower than that, to be honest. So I don't really like him at all. What do you feel about Custer?
Yeah, same thing. I don't think McMurray or Newman are really going to be, good plays. I don't really expect them to have any ownership, though. I do like Cole Custer. I think, Almarola's in the race. Almarola's pretty good at the super speedways. I think they're going to link up early. But if you're looking at Almarola and Custer, Custer is significantly cheaper and has, I think, a lot more upside. So I do like him. And then Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman he did have the fastest car in single car qualifying. His car was so trimmed out, but he's locked in. This race literally doesn't matter to him. If anything, he just wants to keep his car clean for Sunday. So I'm not really interested in Alex Bowman at all.
Yeah, me neither. I he's got a low price, but he's only got downside unless he just holds on to the lead for 30 laps. So
yeah. All right. So looking at the 6K guys here.
No interest in Ryan Preece, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Ironically, he did run a race right after single car qualifying last night. I'm not sure if he won, but I know he was pretty competitive there. Yeah, no interest in Ryan Preece. If you guys are playing him, best of luck to you guys. Austin Cindric, though, I think is a great play. Should have the fastest car of the open cars that are in this duel. he needs
I
to
agree.
race his way in. He has a lot of, drafting partners in DeBetto and Logano. So he's probably my favorite play on the entire slate.
Yeah, Daniel Suarez starting way too high. Don't really like him. We'll have to see how that Trackhouse team, comes out. Michael McDowell, he's cheap, starting 14th, could move up. He'll probably finish around 14th though. So maybe
Yeah,
cash
especially when
play.
you're looking at the price range. If you're looking at Ryan Preece, Austin Cindric, Daniel Suarez, and Michael McDowell, I think Cindric stands out above the
Yeah,
rest of them.
absolutely.
Yeah, Suarez, we just don't really know what that car is yet. Michael McDowell, he's very similar to Ryan Newman to me. I feel like he's going to finish right around where he starts, and there really
Yeah.
isn't much upside there.
Ty Dillon, he's in worse equipment than he was for the Busch Clash race, and worse equipment than he got to race in all last year. But he does start 17th, has a little bit of PD upside, and he is a pretty good racer at these super speedways. And then
Yeah, so if you're
everybody
looking
else is kind of
for
crappy. So
Yeah, exactly. If you're looking for salary relief, I would say Ty Dillon is probably your guy. He does have to race his way in. And when you're comparing him to, Quinn Half, Josh Bilicki, Cody Ware, Timmy Hill, I mean, Ty Dillon's equipment isn't great, but it's definitely better than the guys below him. So yeah, that's kind of what our thoughts are on duel number one. And like I said, if you guys want access to this, feel free to hop over on Twitter and follow us at Fast Cars FM. You guys can pull this up and analyze it yourselves when you're looking at DraftKings lineup. So with that being said, Rich, let's head over to duel number two, which is going to take place right after duel number one. And we got another, good slate here. Again, it's pretty soft pricing, so you can probably play a lot of, really whoever you want. It's really just trying to find those guys who you think are going to finish up front and trying to pivot off of the really high owned guys. But looking at the some of the top price drivers, who you liking out of the 10K and the 9K range over there?
again, staying on the Fords, Brad K and Ryan Blaney, they should draft with each other and all the other Fords in this field and probably move up to the front. Chase Elliott, he starts up at the front. He's probably gonna have to fall back to find some drafting help, I think. I'm not sure there's anybody starting ahead of him or right around him. And then Martin Truex Jr., he definitely has some PD upside. So
Yeah, and I would same thing. I mean, I want to get these teammates that are working together, and I know that are good at these super speedways. So immediately, Brad Keselowski and Ryan Blaney jump out at me, and they're usually really fast. They're probably going to be really high owned, but I think it's worth, paying up for those guys. And then, yeah, Chase Elliott, he starts a little high up for me. I don't really think he has as much upside as the guys, in his price range around him. Same with when you're comparing Kyle Busch and Truex. I think, Truex offers you a little bit of salary relief, with $300 cheaper, and he's going to work. They're going to be together the whole race, and I just think Truex has a lot more upside than Kyle Busch. So that's why we kind of put the high interest around the Fords there, and then the one Toyota of Truex. What about the some of the 8K guys?
Kevin Harvick, he's starting third. I mean, he's in a Ford, so he could potentially get in line with Brad K and Ryan Blaney and just ride around there. But I really don't see him leading many laps or any at all. So he's kind of a tough play for me. Kurt Busch, starting top 10. I mean, he definitely has a decent car. He's in a Chevy, so he'll try and link up with Chase and, Ross Chastain. But, he'll probably end up falling back a little bit. I don't see him finishing where he's at. And then, Chastain, he's aggressive, though, so he might make some moves. But everybody in this field is still trying to make sure their car makes it to Sunday. So he might not be making that many aggressive moves in this race. And then no interest in Austin Dillon. He starts way too high.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as you, as for that price range. Then we get down to the 7K guys. I think this is kind of interesting. Bubba Wallace is in that 2311 car, which is basically a fifth JGR car. I mean, it's unreal how fast that thing is. And yesterday he was exclusively working with the JGR guys. So it's a fast car. He does have Kyle Busch and Truex to work with in this race, but to me, starting second, unless he's leading laps or, finishes top three, I just don't really see it paying off. And I think he might get a lot of ownership as well, just with all the, how often he's been in the media and the news and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Chris Buescher, Corey LaJoie, they're okay guys if you're looking for guys kind of, in this price range. I think they do offer some good PD upside, but I don't really see them finishing any higher than 10th, at best. So they're okay. Getting down in the 6K range, William Byron.
Byron.
Yeah, you can talk about him.
I mean, he's starting on the pole. He's got a fast race car, but he's got no reason to stay up there. He's probably going to just fall back and not race too hard for this one. Chase Briscoe, he'll probably try and get linked up with Kevin Harvick and any other Ford he can find. Just probably trying to get as much practice in the draft. So I don't really see him being a great play tonight. He's one of the young guys, so he's going to be racing hard. He's got to beat Gregson and Smithley. Offers a little bit of PD upside, but, he could tank your lineup too if he ends up getting an accident, just like everybody else. No, I don't really have any interest in David Reagan. And Anthony Alfredo offers some PD upside, so he's an all right value play. But we have a better value play below him. I'll let Andrew.
Yeah, and then once you get down to the 5K range, I mean, a lot of these guys probably want to make you puke, if you have them in your lineup. But
65-year-old Derek Cope.
Yeah, his car didn't even fire yesterday. Wasn't able to get it started, but because he has a charter, he is locked into the race. Same thing with Noah Gregson. I mean, his car was having some issues getting through inspection. I think his crew chief even got ejected. I think they failed inspection 3 times. So, maybe they're cheating and maybe that thing's fast. But I mean, he starts dead last on the field. He needs to race his way in. So I'm pretty interested in Noah Gregson is strictly just a place differential guy. And he's really only racing against Kaz Gralla because I don't really see Garrett Smithley competing against the two of them.
Yeah, he should garner probably the most ownership out of everybody down there.
Yeah, so that's what we're thinking. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, we're going to be doing this all year long, whether it's the Cup Series, Truck Series, or even the Xfinity Series. And, one last time, if you guys want access to the spreadsheet, hop over on Twitter and give us a follow at Fast Cars FM. But, yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the duels, and best of luck to you guys.
Yep, good luck, guys.